Very welcome everybody to the Do Big webinar series by Tata Tele Business Services. Very good afternoon and thank you for your time to join this webinar. Before beginning with the session, let me just give you a quick introduction about myself. I am Omkar Malage, working as an industry analyst with Frost Sullivan, and I am going to be your moderator for today's session. We are going to touch upon a very exciting subject in today's webinar, which would be dealing with how startups and SMEs can drive digital transformation within their enterprise in an easy, cost-effective manner to drive business growth in this digital era. As SME enterprises evolve to keep pace with the ever-changing business needs of business climate, their technology needs are becoming more and more dynamic. SmartOffice or Office in a Box is emerging to be a one-stop solution for organizations to meet their communication and technology needs, so as to ensure faster time to market and delightful customer experience. This webinar focuses on providing organizations, especially the emerging SMEs, a quick dip guide on how they can make their infrastructure more robust and scalable by harnessing the power of SmartOffice and emerge to be a futuristic enterprise. To throw an analyst perspective on the subject in much more detail, I have along with me Mr. Kapil Baghel, who is the lead analyst of enterprise networks and data services market at Frost Sullivan, and also a subject matter expert in this domain. He will be the speaker for today's session and will be walking you through different aspects of SmartOffice solution and provide you insights on key consideration points to choose the right service provider for your business. We also have along with us Mr. Hemant Mathur, who is the product manager for SmartOffice solution from Tata Tele Business Services, and he'll be more than glad to take any specific questions on the product during the Q&A session. This webinar is also punctuated with two very interesting poll questions to gauge and understand your feedback. So I request you to kindly actively participate in the poll rounds and express your views and opinions on the same. Towards the end of this webinar, we will have a Q&A session and you can ask your queries to the speaker through the chat interface on your screen, and we would be more than glad to take it up for you. Also, would request you to kindly fill in the feedback form in the end, as your inputs on this webinar delivery would be of immense help to us to improve going ahead in the future. Now, without wasting much of the limited time we have, I request Mr. Kapil to kindly commence with the webinar for today, and thanks a lot everyone once again for joining with us. So over to you, Kapil, please take over.
Thanks, Omkar, for handing over the proceedings to me. A very good afternoon to all of you. So first, let me introduce myself. I am working as a senior consulting analyst at Frost Sullivan, wherein I'm responsible to handle enterprise data domain, which includes networking and connectivity. I have been tracking enterprise IT and communications market from almost 5 years. I have published multiple white papers on the technology trends of the enterprise market and how those enterprises of all sizes can use those technologies to improve customer experience and business growth as well. So this is just a brief introduction that I have. Now, I would like to shift your focus towards the topic of the hour, a very exciting and unique solution called SmartOffice. You can also call it Office in a Box solution. So just to set up the context, Frost and Sullivan have conducted a survey on more than 1,000 SMEs globally, and we have found that customer experience and employee engagement are the crucial drivers of the growth of the business and to remain ahead of the competitors. How can the SMEs can get the desired level of customer satisfaction and employee engagement? It is very needless for me to say that having robust technologies and sound infrastructure would help SMEs to reach the desired level of customer satisfaction and employee engagement. And how this is going to happen, we are here to discuss that only. So before we move on to the crux of the solution, let us first understand what are the major challenges that SMEs are facing across the globe. So when we talk about challenges, major business and operational challenges that small and medium enterprises face is, the first thing that comes to our mind is limited capital or high capital requirement. Limited capital or funds to invest is the most prominent challenge of SME, as they do not have the luxury of strong cash flows or positive cash flows, which ultimately limits their growth. One of the facts is that almost 60% of the startups do not perform well due to scarcity of resources. The other challenge is creating a strong business infrastructure. SMEs find it very difficult to build a strong IT infrastructure, as it requires a lot of capital expenditure and involves a lot of complexity as well. This also results in loss of productivity and limited growth. Now I would like to highlight the next challenge, which is ensuring effective customer engagement. Let's take an example of the Olas and Ubers of the world. They have become a unicorn startup because they were able to engage with their customers in a very simple and effective way through technology. So it is very important for the organizations to have right kind of technology and platforms in place. But SMEs find it difficult due to scarcity of resources. The next challenge that I would like to highlight over here is innovation. For any organization to be successful in longer term, innovation is of the vital importance. You don't innovate, you generally perish. That happened to a lot of companies such as Nokia. SMEs need to have right set of skills and tools at the right time to enable innovation, which they find very challenging. Last but not the least, operational efficiency is also an imperative to any organization for stable and good growth. SMEs find it difficult because they do not have process automation and integration in place. So now we understood the major challenges SMEs are facing globally. Now I would like to tell you how SMEs can get rid of these challenges. So in this digital era, it is needless for me to say that digital transformation is the solution for all of these challenges. And as you can see that global SMEs have already started to realize the importance of this digital transformation. And we as analysts, we love to talk with numbers. So to validate whatever we have discussed so far, let me throw some important findings from a survey conducted by Frost Sullivan, including the responses of 1,300 SMEs globally. So one of the interesting insight was that 92% of the leaders among SMEs, leaders, I mean those companies who are ahead in the digital curve, they consider customer experience as the primary driver for the adoption of digital transformation. 38% of the overall companies surveyed have said that employee engagement is the biggest driver of digital adoption. And 36% of the overall companies surveyed said that product innovation and service innovation is the reason why they want to adopt digital technologies. So from that, it is very clear that customer experience, employee engagement, and innovation are the primary reasons why SME want to go digital. So as now we know that digital transformation is the answer for SME challenges, but the problem is still not solved. The reason why I'm saying that was digital transformation is itself a big challenge for SMEs. As you know that I love talking with numbers, let me throw some more insights again from the same survey. Almost 1/5 of the companies surveyed consider lack of budget or the lack of capital as the primary obstacle for them to transform digitally or to adopt digital technologies, as they have to purchase multiple technologies, hardware, software, which are quite capital intensive. Apart from that, 15% of them considers lack of sophisticated technologies as the major hurdle in adopting digital technologies. So these are the two major challenges, but there are a few more important obstacles that SMEs faces in the adoption of digital technologies. So we are also going to discuss those challenges as well. As SMEs need to purchase technologies from a variety of suppliers, it creates complexity and incompatibility issue, and that makes it very difficult for SMEs to manage multiple suppliers and vendors, which generally leads to slow go-to-market and overall productivity loss. That is why managing multiple vendors has become a challenge for SMEs. After that, the other important challenge is ensuring the security of data. To create a strong, secure ecosystem, SMEs have to deal with multiple transformational changes. So, for example, with the adoption of digital technologies, companies becoming prone to cyber attacks as well. Even the big companies like Facebook and Verizon have faced multiple attacks recently, which is creating the need for more secure ecosystem for all the organizations, be it SME or be it a large enterprise. And it is quite a challenge for SME to produce or to create that kind of ecosystem. To fully utilize the technology and reap the desired benefits, companies need to have trained professionals and dedicated team. SMEs find it really challenging to build that kind of ecosystem. That is why lack of trained professional is one of the challenge for them. So now let's understand how the SMEs could transform digitally in the emerging markets like India. So basically there are 4 pillars of the digital transformation in emerging markets. The first and foremost is collaboration and communication solution. It will help SMEs in better employee engagement and improving workforce productivity. And IP convergence is going to be a significant trend in emerging markets like India by driving and helping the enterprises to reduce the communication cost. Cloud and application is one of the major trend as well, because SMEs are adopting cloud technologies and using application based on the software as a service model, which is primarily very cost effective. Cloud and application would ultimately help them to reduce their capex as well. So with the increasing penetration of smartphone and adoption of trends like bring your own devices, mobile has also become an imperative for SMEs in digital transformation. So SMEs need to adopt and integrate those technologies in order to remain ahead of the competition curve. because it will help them build a better customer experience, employee engagement, and improve productivity also. So here's the million-dollar question for all of you. How the SMEs can adopt these technologies in an easy and cost-effective way? The solution is, and the answer is, SmartOffice. So with that, let me introduce the solution SmartOffice to you. SmartOffice is nothing but an integrated solution which allows SMEs to access voice data storage and applications to an integrated platform, replacing multiple manual processes and automating multiple processes to produce operational as well as cost efficiency. SmartOffice enables integrated connectivity to voice and data by bundling and SIP and ILL, that is Internet Lease Line. So if you remember, in the previous slide, I have talked about 4 pillars of digital transformation for SMEs: collaboration, communication, cloud and application, IP convergence, and mobility, which are imperative to achieve business objectives such as improved customer experience and better employee engagement. So SmartOffice is the perfect fit for those digital transformation requirements. If you can see that diagram in the slide, it shows this SmartOffice fulfills those requirements by providing voice, data connectivity, access to storage, and applications as well through a single platform. So this is the uniqueness of the solution. Now we have understood the SmartOffice. Now let me take you to the components of SmartOffice. The first and foremost component of SmartOffice is integrated voice and data. So it includes IPPBX, which is used for voice services, data router, which can be used for internet services, and the SME can also create wireless LAN through Wi-Fi app, and they can also communicate through analog lines through foreign exchange subscriber. The other set of component is data security. As we have already talked about, data security has become an imperative for SMEs as well as large enterprises in terms of protecting and keeping their data safe from cyber threats. So protection from internal and external threats is very necessary, and that can be provided through firewall and DDoS protection solutions. Conferencing and collaboration will help the SMEs to improve their employee engagement by providing audio conferencing and collaboration tools like file sharing. Apart from that, SmartOffice also provides access to multiple other additional applications such as document management system. Along with that, in future, it may also integrate CRM. So with that, let me now explain you what kind of key features SmartOffice provides. SmartOffice has majorly 6 key features. One of them is single box solution. So it provides integrated box which integrates SIP and ILL connectivity, providing a single port for both the services. So it reduces the complexity and it provides cost effectiveness to the SMEs. Integrated last mile has also been provided in this solution, wherein the SMEs would not need to worry about their infrastructure outside of their office. IP and analog interoperability is also one of the major features of SmartOffice, which enables SMEs to save in the cost front by enabling analog devices to be connected with the box and provide cost effectiveness, as they need not to invest in the capital expenditure to purchase the analog devices, the IP devices. They can use their existing infrastructure. The next feature is inbuilt security. The box contains an inbuilt firewall. Along with that, DDoS service is also provided. MAC address filtering is one of the features through which the SMEs can block the websites that they don't want to access, or they can also block MAC IDs and IP IDs. Plug and play is one of the features which is very important for SMEs, as it enables them to faster their go-to-market strategy, or enables them to deploy the solution very easily so that it could be cost effective and improve their productivity as well. Collaboration tools are used for improving the employee engagement and data sharing between the employees. These are the major features. Apart from that, SmartOffice has some additional features as well. In-office mobility, which enables environment within the office through compatibility with open smartphone apps and soft phone clients. So SMEs need not to purchase multiple phones or multiple hardware phones, because they have soft clients that they can use it in their smartphones and create in-office mobility environment. Workstation management is also a feature which has been provided by SmartOffice, which provides easy access and collaboration through different systems such as messaging, email, and file sharing. Advanced call management is also one of the feature which provides voicemail, call conference, call forwarding, etc. Through voicemail, ultimately productivity of company can be improved through improving answer to seizure ratio. And SMEs can also create wireless LAN with the help of the SmartOffice by using inbuilt Wi-Fi router. Access to storage is also one of the feature in which companies would get storage which is being pooled. If they add one resource, then the storage quota will also improve. So these are the major features that SMEs has. And now, as you have understand the challenges and the features also, I would like Omkar to take over for the poll question.
Thanks a lot, Kapil, for giving a deep dive insight on what exactly the SmartOffice solution is. And I'm pretty much sure that audience would be quite excited. The challenges that you mentioned are quite relevant to an SMEs of the day. Now that Kapil has just mentioned, audience, that to overcome these challenges, digital transformation within these enterprises is the key answer. But then how can you enable digital transformation within your enterprise to ensure enhanced customer satisfaction, effective employee engagement, innovation, along with creating awareness about your products and services to your end customers? Then SmartOffice is the answer to all your problems. But before that, we would really like to understand and get perspective specific to your company, as in what is the major challenge for your organization per se that you face as an IT officer, a CIO, or CXO, in managing the solution or procuring the IT and communication requirement. Because today in the digital era, having a sound technology and communication infrastructure in place is imperative for every organization to succeed and compete in the market. So in order to construct our subsequent slides in a better way to help you understand how your organization can overcome the challenges that you usually face, which Kapil just mentioned. So we would like to know from you, what are the major challenges your organization faces? So I'm going to throw a poll question in front of your screen right now, and we're giving it a round of 30 seconds for you to respond. I request each and every one of you to please participate in the poll rounds, because gauging your inputs on this is extremely critical for us as well as the speaker, because in his subsequent slides, probably Kapil will help us understand how you as an organization can circumvent these challenges by adopting a SmartOffice solution. So launching the poll question for the first poll question for this webinar. What are the major challenges does your organization face in procuring and managing solutions for IT and communication requirement? So is it a capital requirement? Is it managing multiple vendors? Because as Kapil mentioned, that procuring different technology and voice and data services from different vendors can be an extremely time consuming and a complex process. It eats up a lot of your time which you could have utilized for managing your core business rather than procuring these equipments and hardware. So managing multiple vendors is turning out to be one major challenge. Third is lack of suitable technologies, and fourth is lack of time. So, okay, great. So almost 32% of you have voted. The voting is going up. That's great. I would give it another 10 to 15 seconds to gauge in most of the responses. Great. So almost more than 50% have now voted. I would let this number reach to at least a 60, 65. Your responses are really key to us. It will help us understand and construct our subsequent slides and presentation better. Okay, so I think I have got substantial responses from the audience. I'll just close in the poll rounds. Okay, so Kapil, we have got some really interesting responses. Almost 60% of more than 60% of the audiences have voted, and there is a tie between two factors with 33% each. So 33% of audiences feel that managing multiple vendors is a challenge, along with lack of suitable technologies. So and capital requirement is 26%, whereas the least score has got to lack of time. So I think the CXOs, CIOs really have good amount of time to do due diligence for their organizations, and they want a sound infrastructure in place, so they don't mind investing the time. But I think what they need a solution around is how they can cut down on managing multiple vendors and have a one-stop shop. And also lack of suitable technology, which is again a tie with 33%, is what they feel is a major hindrance when it comes to deploying communication or technology infrastructure for their organization. And surprisingly, we felt that capital requirement would be the key hindrance, but that has turned out to be the second level hindrance. I think they are ready to invest the capital, and they are ready for a good solution that can solve their purpose. So yeah, Kapil, I would request you to please take on the subsequent slide and help our audiences understand how can they circumvent challenges pertaining to managing multiple vendors, lack of suitable technologies, and I'll bet the capital requirement. So thanks a lot, audiences, for responding. Over to you, Kapil. Please take over the subsequent slides.
Sure. So in the previous slides, we had understood that what are the major challenges that organizations were facing and how the SmartOffice can provide better digital transformation to the SMEs. Now, in the subsequent slide, I would like to move your focus towards the Indian context. So we need to see from the Indian lenses as well. So how SmartOffice helps new entrant as well as existing SMEs to overcome their challenges in Indian context. So to start with, let's understand what are the major requirements to set up a new office for SMEs in India. So there are multiple requirements. The first and foremost is voice and data services, which is primarily internet and voice connectivity, which is must for any enterprises to operate in this digital era. It will definitely improve the cost effectiveness and provide better enterprise communications and employee collaboration as well. SMEs need to get voice and data capabilities from service providers depending on their requirements. The other requirement is hardware for connectivity and storage, which costs a lot of CapEx for the enterprises. Data security, as we have already talked about, has become an imperative for SMEs. So they need to deploy firewalls and relative security services such as DDoS to create an ecosystem which is secure and ensure the security of their clients' data as well as their sensitive data. Mobility and collaboration is also going to be a huge requirement for SMEs, as it creates the need of flexible environment or mobile environment within the office. Mobile experience becomes important if business model requires remote access from anywhere as well. The last but not the least is the requirement, which is trained IT staff. Companies need a dedicated and trained IT staff to basically manage all their IT infrastructure, and SMEs generally find it really hard and difficult to create that sort of team, dedicated team, because they generally don't want to focus on non-core activities. So with this context, let me tell you what are the basic pain areas which can be generated from these enterprise requirements and how SmartOffice is going to solve those pain areas. So these are the major pain areas. Incurring significant capex is one of the major pain areas, as we have conducted a survey which has suggested that 68% of the SMEs consider capex as one of the major pain areas in adopting or in fulfilling those requirements. So how the SmartOffice is going to solve those pain areas? Here's the answer. So it provides very low capex offering, wherein SMEs need not to purchase multiple equipment, hardware, and software from different technology service providers. It saves around 20 to 30% versus standard SIP and ILL costs. It also provides significantly low recurring charges with almost negligible AMC, and it is generally pay-as-you-grow model. That is why it would be beneficial for SMEs. Now, the second pain area is future integration, wherein SMEs generally find it hard to enable future integration in terms of their systems. So as SmartOffice provides future integration with the help of capabilities of integrating new technologies and apps and modules in the near future. The other major challenge, as you have also pointed out, dealing with multiple vendors. Here also 54% of the enterprises or SMEs that we had surveyed are saying that dealing with multiple vendors is a big challenge for them. So how SmartOffice is going to solve this challenge? Here's the solution. It provides a one-stop shop solution which generally integrates voice, data storage, application, and security capabilities. So it is a one-stop shop solution for all the ICT requirements of the SME. So the service provider procure all the software, and SMEs do not have to take that headache. That is why they no need to manage multiple service providers or vendors. The next pain area is SMEs do not want to invest much time in non-core activities. As rightly pointed out in our survey as well, 49% of SMEs said that they do not want to spend much time in non-core activities. That is why they go for managed services, and SmartOffice provides managed service option as well. SmartOffice takes the responsibility of complete management and maintenance of the service along with infrastructure and management. SMEs can outsource it to the service providers and the vendors they are partnering with. So that's how the SmartOffice helps the companies to solve their challenges and address their pain areas. So with this, I would like to further focus on what kind of use cases SmartOffice has. Basically, it has the use case for a startup where it provides a single box solution to a startup, and it has a use case for existing SMEs as well, wherein if the SMEs or the companies want to set up multiple branch offices across India. So let's see the use cases. This is the use case for a small business and startups. So the challenge which I mentioned over here, less effective enterprise communication and collaboration, is due to divergent and complex communication infrastructure. It happens due to the lack of effective enterprise communication. And lack of faster connectivity and mobility is also one of the challenge. And SMEs generally deal with a lot of very less call conversion rates in the given span of time. So all of these challenges can be solved by a single box solution, that is SmartOffice, and that need to be customized according to the requirement of small businesses. The single box solution would provide integrated SIP and ILR connectivity along with voicemail, auto attendant, and call recording. So it will help increase the call conversion rate with the features like call forwarding, call conference, and voicemails. And built-in Wi-Fi and 8-port managed Ethernet switch will help create wireless LAN as well as virtual LANs within the system. This use case would primarily be applicable for small businesses in banking and financial and insurance industry, along with consulting firms, hospitals, and real estate agents as well. So this use case is relevant for small businesses and startups. Now let's see the use case for existing SMEs who want to develop or expand in multiple geographies within India and build multiple offices. So company wants to expand and deploy multiple offices across various circles within India in a cost-effective manner. So this is a challenge of the company, and ineffective collaboration in terms of information sharing, such as inventory, sales data, etc., is also a challenge for the company. So the solution which would help to overcome these challenges would look like this. It will include IP telephony features with pre-activated multiple SIP trunks and multiple IP users and analog extensions. Along with that, it will also include a VPN network which will be securely transferred over internet. Document management system will also be there with pooled storage to enable better employee collaboration. And mobility will definitely help in creating a flexible mobile environment within the office and increase employee collaboration. So this use case will be applicable to the enterprises who have multiple branch offices in India, or who want to expand and build multiple branch offices in India, and also the nationwide franchisees. So with this, now let's talk about the actual case scenario. The company is a web-based service provider of various services related to Aadhaar-enabled payment system, utility bill payment, health vehicle insurance, etc. So the challenge that company was facing, they were using wireless PBX voice, which was getting obsolete. So, and there was a different service provider for broadband as well. So they were dealing with the challenge of managing multiple service providers as well, along with an obsolete technology challenge. So the solution they were looking for was an alternative to obsoleting voice technology, and they also wanted to reduce the complexity of managing multiple vendors. So SmartOffice became a perfect fit for them, providing them the integrated access to IP, voice, internet, apps, and storage in a single box. So the benefits that they could get out from this solution: one-stop shop solution with no multiple vendor headache. So the SME's challenge has been solved. And managed solution with very less capex. It generally provides cost effectiveness. They have also reduced complexity of managing IT infra. Integrated and future-ready voice and data connectivity has also been one of the benefit. After the benefits, the outcome was that they were they have deployed the IT infrastructure very easily, and it has become very easy to maintain as well. Along with that, improved cost effectiveness was a byproduct. Improved staff productivity is also one of the results that they have got, and they were able to focus more on their core business. So this is how the SmartOffice has helped a company to transform digitally and overcome their challenges. So with that, now I would like Omkar to take the next poll question, which is about the SmartOffice solution value proposition used in SME organization.
Thanks a lot, Kapil, on the briefing about what are the different benefits that SmartOffice has to offer and how they can address, how SmartOffice as a solution can address the pain points of an organization, may it be in terms of managing multiple vendors, or maybe in terms of the capex requirement, or a lack of sufficient resources and technology. And I can tell you that after listening to all the benefits, if at all tomorrow I happen to start my own company or a startup going ahead in future, I think SmartOffice is one solution that I'm certainly going for. And I think that benefit is quite resonated with most of our audiences as well, because the moment we were talking about the benefits of SmartOffice as a solution, I started receiving a lot of responses and questions from the audience. Most of them are wanting to have a live demo about how the SmartOffice works, pertaining to the expansion in the branch locations. Some of the audiences also want to understand how SmartOffice can help them, expand in different regions and different geographies. So that is one clear indication, I feel, that the message has been well communicated to our audience in terms of the impact that SmartOffice as a solution can have when you have to set up your own office as an SME or a startup, and how SmartOffice as a solution can really help you scale up to meet your business requirements of enhanced customer experience, employee engagement, or may it be creating or awareness about your products and services. So to all the emerging and existing SMEs out there, if you really want to be a futuristic enterprise of tomorrow and want to overcome challenges by driving digital transformation and adoption of digital technology within your organization, I think SmartOffice is the solution to go for. But just to kind of gauge in terms of polls, to understand how this message has been well communicated, and do you really think that SmartOffice as a solution is a good value proposition for your organization to meet its challenges? We have the second poll question for the day, which I'll be launching on your screen, and I request you all to please actively participate. Let's beat the participation strength from the first poll, which was around 60%. I want 100% participation in the second poll round, and this input is really important for us because it gives us an indication that the message that we want to deliver through this session has been well communicated. So launching the second poll question of the day on your screen, I'll give it a 30-second time to give in your responses. So do you think SmartOffice solutions that has just been discussed is a good value proposition and a useful tool for your organization? Yes or no? And I would be really glad if we get majority of yes, and I'll be drastically surprised if I get even a single no. Great. So audiences are voting, and this time the voting percentage and the voting strength is shooting up really fast. So let's have a 100% voting strength, please. I'll give it another 20 seconds. I know most of the audience members have a lot of questions coming in, but don't worry, we will be having a separate Q&A session wherein we will be taking your questions and kind of addressing them one by one. So right now we have close to about 65% audiences have voted. I'll let it reach a bit of a higher mark. Okay, so let me close the polls now, and I'll read out the results. Okay, great. So Kapil, I think a job well done by you in kind of propagating the value proposition of SmartOffice, because almost 70% of the audiences have voted, and 88% people feel that SmartOffice is a good value proposition and a good asset to have for their organization to set up their office or expansion in remotest locations. So, but I would like you to kind of take them through another benefits and key features, and also some of the tips wherein you tell the audience how they can connect with the right service provider, or what are the key parameters that they need to consider when they have to go for this kind of solution. And I hope the 12% people which are no right now get converted to yes by the end of your presentation. Okay, so
Sure.
great. So over to you, Kapil. Please go on with your subsequent slides.
So far, we have understood what kind of challenges that SMEs facing and how SmartOffice helps the SMEs to overcome those challenges and create a very good value proposition so that they can achieve their business objectives like operational efficiency, better customer experience, and employee engagement. Now, there's one very important criteria wherein choosing the right service provider for Office in a Box solution. So this would be one of the questions that would be going in your mind as well. So here's the answer for it. Before noting that, before keeping on the parameters and understanding the parameters which are essential for the service providers to have, let's first focus on what are the factors that affect decision of SMEs to purchase integrated office connectivity solutions or solutions like SmartOffice. So one of the parameter is that requirement of integrated solution. SMEs generally, first question they will ask themselves, do they really require integrated solution? So SMEs with need of desk, phones, internet, and marketing solutions would definitely go for it. And the capex involved, it is always a concern for SMEs. So cost conscious customers which do not want to invest in multiple hardwares or the hardwares like EPBX or IPBX, they would go for it. And pricing, when it comes to SMEs, pricing of a solution is one of the most important criteria. They generally go for flexible pricing models such as pay-as-you-go model. That is why pricing plays a huge role in decision making. Features and value additions also plays a significant role in assessing the purchasing decision of an SME. Along with the basic features like voice data, SMEs would also like to go for advanced features like in-office mobility, security, and document management systems. Managed service capability is also one of the criteria that they would want to check, because they do not want to focus much on their non-core activities. They generally prefer to outsource them. So by understanding all these factors affecting decision making of SMEs in terms of buying or purchasing Office in a Box solution, now let's focus on what are the major parameters that an SME should consider while choosing a right service provider for Office in a Box kind of solution. So the first and foremost is one-stop shop for all the ICT requirements. Service provider must have one-stop shop for all the ICT requirements. It should be able to provide voice, internet, storage, security, and applications in a single package form, which can be delivered through single platform. And ease of deployment and managed services would be the second parameter, wherein SMEs generally want the solution to be plug and play, and service providers should be able to provide that solution. Interoperability with existing capability is one of the very important parameter over here, because it enables the SMEs to curb the capital expenditure by allowing them to use their existing infrastructure like analog phones with the box. So interoperability has to be there. And not least, future readiness of the solution is also one of the major parameter to consider over here, because future readiness would enable SME to be ready for the future in terms of getting or integrating the new technologies and applications in their platform, so that they can use it for their to create more effective customer interaction and analyze customer behavior as well. So analytics is one of the technology that can be integrated in your future. So these are the overall parameters which a service provider, which a SME should look into service provider to opt for a SmartOffice Box solution. So with that, I would like to now give you some key takeaways from the presentation that we have discussed. One of the major key takeaway is, due to the evolution of digital technologies and digital transformation, there's a dynamic shift in the requirements of the companies across the globe, be it SME or be it large enterprises. All sides of enterprises have become quite dynamic now. And SMEs in India also need to evolve to cope up with this digital shift. And one of the interesting and a major trend in India is increasing IP convergence. IP voice and data is expected to be a significant trend for SME communication, which is primarily driven by government policies and adoption of IP technologies. This will ultimately lead to increase in the demand of office-in-a-box solution in India. And usefulness of SmartOffice for small business as well as SMEs is also one of the important key takeaway over here. SmartOffice can be leveraged by small businesses who want to create single office, as well as the businesses which have multiple branches to set up a new business or branch office as well. It ultimately helps them to reduce IT and communication costs, enabling digital transformation and improving effectiveness of employee engagement. And importance of FutureNet, as we had already talked about, future readiness is one of the imperative for SMEs as well. So for selecting an office-in-a-box solution, scalability in terms of integration of new technologies and applications is a crucial factor, which will ultimately help them to tap new business opportunities and generate more operational efficiency and better customer experience. So with this, I would like to conclude that SmartOffice is a great solution which is robust, reliable, and easy to deploy, which is very good for SMEs in terms of whether they want to deploy new office, or even existing SMEs can leverage that and they can use it in their branch offices as well. So with this, I would like to make the forum open for question and answer, and I would like Omkar to take it over.
Thanks a lot, Kapil. Thanks a lot. It was a very insightful session, and I hope that it has been well resonated amongst our audience in terms of their queries that they have and why to go for a SmartOffice solution, because I can synonymally relate a SmartOffice solution to a Google of information, right? I mean, for a startup, it is a kind of a boon. If you're setting up and starting up your journey as a company, or in the beginning of your entrepreneurship journey, or even the existing SMEs, they can leverage this SmartOffice solution very effectively, because even for existing SMEs, even though they might have a legacy infrastructure in place, they might have a capex invested in that, but a SmartOffice technology has good features in terms of compatibility and interoperability, which works well with the traditional legacy infrastructure as well. So the existing startups too do not need to worry about the investments that they have made in their existing infrastructure. It's a great solution to go for because it's cost effective, it's plug and play, it helps you overcome the hassles of managing multiple vendors, it is robust, it is scalable, and it will help you expand easily. So which fastens your go-to market compared to your competitors, because in this digital era and this dynamic business environment, it is extremely important for enterprises, new age enterprises, to stay ahead of your competition. And with SmartOffice, you can do that because it reduces your time to market drastically and enables your team to focus on core business functions rather than worrying about from where do you need to procure the materials, from the hardware. It helps you get rid of headaches of managing multiple vendors, and this can really give a good amount of time to your internal teams to focus on core business and enhance the growth. So it is a must solution to go for to all the new age enterprises who want to think futuristic, who want to connect with their customers faster, who want to have an effective, flawless employee engagement, and create, innovative culture along with massive awareness about their products and services through the data, voice, cloud, and mobility offering and single integrated platform that a SmartOffice has to offer. So with this, I know you guys have been waiting and holding on for long in terms of the questions. So I open this forum to take any questions that you might have. In fact, I have a couple of questions that have already come in from few of the audiences. And since we are also blessed with the presence of Mr. Hemant Mathur, who is the product manager for SmartOffice. Sir, I would like to kind of direct the first question to you. Sanjay Srivastav from the audience just wanted to know that if he had to deploy a smart office solution up in the east, time will it? And I am assuming that he's talking about the northeastern part. So what is the time that will take for covering those places? So Hemant sir, if you can just put some light on that.
Yeah, hi. So if you can have the address, then we can get back to you on the feasibility part, and kind of difficult to comment on specific area or a state. So if there is an address, there is a lat long, can get back to you.
Okay, okay, great. Thanks a lot.
The number, which is 1800-266-1800, probably you can call up, put in a request, and we'll get back to you on feasibility of that particular location.
Great, sir. Great, certainly. So probably Mr. Sanjay Srivastav can connect with you on that number, and that will be taken care of. Kapil, the next question, just one of the audience members wants to know that, okay, SmartOffice is a great solution for a startup, but what about the existing SMEs? So if they want to kind of leverage this solution, would it impact their initial investment that they have done or legacy infrastructure that is in place? So maybe you would like to address that.
Sure. So SmartOffice have a solution, have a feature which provides interoperability with the existing infrastructure. For example, the box helps the SMEs to integrate their analog phones with the latest communication phones as well. So it provides integrated IP as well as analog system, which helps in reducing costs. So they will not have an impact on their capital expenditure. Ultimately, it will be reduced because they can use and leverage their existing infrastructure also in this box.
Great.
And also to add to this, if you have a legacy infra, then you have two choices. One is the SmartOffice and legacy infra would coexist, as Kapil pointed out. Second option is to sunset the legacy infra altogether, and in that case, you will save on the cost of AMCs and the annual recurring cost that is there, and you can adopt SmartOffice all out.
Great, sir. That was very insightful. Another question has quickly come in, sir, and I would like to direct it to Mr. Hemant Kumar. So, Hemant, sir, Mr. Satish Kadam just wanted to know that is there any minimum bandwidth required that they need to have, or do they have a choice of selection? So, is there any minimum bandwidth that they need to go with, or do they as an enterprise have a choice of selection for that?
Taking a customer-friendly approach, what we have done, we are offering bouquet of options, and the minimum bandwidth would start with 2 Mbps and can go as high as up to now 100 Mbps. So customers can pick and choose the bandwidth that they want. One. Second, they can also pick and choose the SIP plan. So in that case, they can just like a pizza topping, they can select the plan that they want, and that is best fit as per their requirements.
Great, sir. Thanks a lot. Hemant, sir, I would really like you to address over here, because during the first poll round, right, the major challenge SMEs in the audience section is facing is managing multiple vendors. So I would really love the audience to have your perspective as in how the SmartOffice solution by Tata Tele Business Services can really help them circumvent the challenges or hassles of managing multiple vendors, because that was something that emerged out to be the key challenge that the audience organizations were facing.
In terms of multiple vendors, the solution has been designed with these to answer these set of challenges, and they would have you want to have a couple of desk phones, and then that would take you back to a EPBX or a IPBX that can have a single pilot number. So all these things, so one requirement, then you would want to have some basic level of security, and then a system integrator would suggest a basic firewall for that. Then you may want to have your office Wi-Fi enabled, and then you would want to have a Wi-Fi access point, and that should again speak to your router so that your office is Wi-Fi enabled. So all these things are clubbed into SmartOffice. And you can, if you opt SmartOffice, then you would not need to have so many vendors. That is part one. Part two is everything would talk to each other seamlessly. Part three is when things go wrong, then you would have a single point of contact. We would come and simply fix it. There is no AMC component. There is no risk of device obsolescence. So everything is kind of taken care of. And when you are scaling up business, then also you just have to ask us, and we'll deliver another box, and you are ready to go.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, sir, for that input. One more question we had from the audience, Hemant sir, was can the enterprise do audio conferencing as well in a smart office solution box?
Yeah, that's right. So audio conferencing, we have two options. One is a basic conferencing capabilities are built into the box. As we know,
Okay.
the box itself is a advanced IP-PBX, and you can set up conferencing in that. Second option is the SmartOffice has audio conferencing bridge plan built into that, and that's a zero rental plan for lifetime. So you can configure that, and you want to have a small chat with your suppliers, you want to collaborate between the sales team members, then you can use this conferencing bridge, and it's a great tool to kind of collaborate effectively and to kind of give a professional look and feel to your communications. Itself is kind of a human assistance. There's a help desk that would set up the conference bridge for you. There are automated emails that would go to the designated people that you want, and there are multiple valued service options in terms of recording, in terms of muting, and etc. So on and so forth. So it's a comprehensive conferencing solution that's there in this.
Thanks a lot, Hemant sir, for that inputs. I think that would really answer the question that our audience had. Also, Mr. Satish Kadam seems to be quite interested in kind of going for a smart office solution, and he wants to know how much time frame would be required to set up to deploy a smart office solution in a rural area, for example, like Solapur. So I think Mr. Satish, you can, with regards to the feasibility, you can contact the Tata Tele Business Services team at 1800-266-1800, or also write to them at dobig at tatatele.co.in, and they would be more than glad to immediately take up your request and kind of come up with a solution that would be the best possible fit for you in terms of feasibility. With that, I think it has been a great session. I am coming with there are a lot of questions and queries coming in, so I'll just kind of probably take a last one. So, Hemant sir, there was a member from the audience who just kind of wanted to, because a SIP trunking is a part of SIP trunk as a solution is a part of Smart Office. So probably the audience wanted to know how can it impact or help its organization in terms of its deployment. They wanted to kind of know about its working. The working part can be taken care when they write to you or contact you, but probably if you can just help the audience understand how SIP trunking as a voice solution can be really beneficial for an enterprise in terms of cost effectiveness.
So first we'll address cost effectiveness. In terms of cost effectiveness, we have recently unveiled unlimited plans for SIP trunking. So there is a predictability in the cost, and if you compare that with number of DIDs that can connect, so per DID cost would be about 200 rupees per month, and this would be less than what you would get in the prepaid mobile space. One. Second is SIP trunking is significantly superior in terms of the call seizure ratio. This means that in a given span of time, you can make more calls through SIP trunk versus a PRI, and obviously versus a mobile. So you can do this small experiment on your own. If you have SIP trunk installed at a friend's place or in some office, try calling your mobile number and just put a timer, and you'll know that within 3 seconds the call is through. And when you try to do the same with your mobile, it would take on a good day 7 to 8 seconds. So this means that anybody who is making the calls during office time is spending twice as much time. So plus the call quality is infinitely better. Plus, when you use a Smart Office box, then there is an option to record all these calls. So you can kind of play back and see that if the commitments are being met. And
great, that is a very unique and a nice proposition for SMEs who would like to conduct some analytics in terms of their for their customers, recording of calls, and kind of ensure that customer grievances and satisfactions are met, and also have more effective communications regarding their products with their customers. So that's a really great feature of Smart Office to have. And with regards to SIP, I think Tata Tele Business Services has been one of the first movers in the SIP trunking space. So you guys probably have one of the best solutions to offer when it comes to SIP, and especially for cost sensitive SME industry, I think SIP is a great proposition to go for. So audiences, thanks a lot for all your questions. Due to the paucity of time, I'm really sorry that we can't take all the questions. However, the Tata Tele Business Services team would be more than glad to take up any more questions that have not been addressed over here. If you have any queries regarding the product, need a product demo, or want to do a feasibility check about this product, you can write to Tata Tele Business Services at dobig@tatatele.co.in, or you can call them at 1800-266-1800. And I would really like to thank Hemant Mathur sir for giving his valuable time and sharing his inputs and taking up these queries. It has been of immense help. I hope this session has been quite valuable and insightful for you, and the message has been conveyed well. So I hope we have been able to kind of guide you with respect to how can your organization be the organization of the future, how can you leverage this SmartOffice technology to set up your offices faster, have a faster go-to-market, reach out to your customers in a better manner, and enhance your business growth. So SmartOffice is the solution to go for when it comes to SMEs and emerging startups. Again, I would like to thank all the audience members to sharing your valuable time throughout this session and staying connected with us. If you have any further queries, you can contact the coordinates shared on the screen. Also, I would request you to please fill in your inputs at the end of the webinar. A form will open up automatically. Your inputs on the quality of this webinar delivery is important for us because this will help us improve in the future and provide you with much more insightful sessions which can help business growth for your organizations when it comes to digital technologies. So thanks a lot everyone for your participation in this. Have a great day.